They laughed when the smoke did not rise straight into the sky. From a distance, her cabin chimney looked wrong, almost broken, with no tall pipe standing proudly above the roof. Instead, heat vanished in the ground as if she had buried her fire on purpose. Neighbors driving past slowed their trucks, pointing and shaking their heads, certain they were witnessing the most foolish mistake anyone had ever made in the mountains. They said the smoke would choke her, the fire would fail, and the cold would claim her by Christmas. What they did not know was that winter was about to teach them all a lesson written in warmth beneath their feet. Before the story continues, take a moment to like this video, comment, share it, and subscribe to the channel if you believe in the silent hero, in second chances, and in people who dare to think differently even when the world laughs. Her name was Emily Carter, and she came to the remote mountains of West Virginia, carrying more loss than luggage. She was raised in a small Christian household where Sundays were sacred and perseverance was a quiet expectation. Emily married young, built a modest life, and believed stability was something that stayed once you reached it. Then a single winter night on an icy highway took her husband away. The world did not shatter loudly. It went silent. Bills piled up. Conversations felt hollow. The house they shared became a place of echoes instead of comfort. Emily worked 2 jobs until exhaustion became her constant companion. But grief never loosened its grip. Eventually, she made a decision that surprised everyone who knew her. She sold a house, left a town where every street carried memory, and bought a small piece of wooded land far from everything familiar. The land was cheap because winters were unforgiving and the soil rocky. Most people built traditional cabins with tall chimneys and roaring fires to fight the cold. Emily had other ideas. She had grown fascinated with passive heating systems during sleepless nights, reading about underground flue systems that captured heat before it escaped. She believed warmth should be guided, not wasted. Building the cabin took nearly everything she had. She worked alone most days, her hands stiff from cold, her back aching from effort. Money forced creativity. She reused materials, salvaged stone, and designed every inch with purpose. The most controversial part was the underground chimney system. Instead of sending hot air straight out, Emily routed the flue through channels beneath the cabin floor before releasing it outside. The system allowed heat to travel slowly, warming the stone and soil beneath the floor, storing warmth that would radiate upward long after the fire burned low. Neighbors were not kind about it. They laughed openly, calling it dangerous and useless. They said chimneys were meant to vent smoke, not wander underground. Some warned her she would poison herself. Others claimed her fire would never draw properly. Emily listened carefully, double-checked every calculation, and followed safety principles with precision. She installed proper ventilation, sealed channels, and built inspection points. Still, doubt crept in during long nights when wind howled through the trees and the cabin walls creaked under pressure. As fall slipped into winter, Emily finished the system just days before the first major snowstorm. She lit her stove cautiously, watching the draft, monitoring airflow, praying silently. Smoke moved as planned. Heat flowed into the channels beneath the floor. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the stone beneath her feet warmed. By morning, the floor was not just tolerable, it was warm. The storm arrived with sudden violence. Snow buried the roads, and temperatures dropped far below average. Neighbors fed their stoves constantly, burning through firewood stacks faster than expected. Smoke poured from tall chimneys day and night. Inside Emily's cabin, the fire burned gently. The floor radiated warmth evenly, keeping the air comfortable without constant feeding. She walked barefoot on stone, while outside the world froze solid. Days passed, then weeks. Firewood deliveries could not get through. Panic spread quietly as supplies dwindled. People noticed something strange. Emily was not hauling wood every morning. Her chimney did not smoke endlessly. Curiosity replaced laughter. When one family's heating system failed during a bitter night, Emily opened her door without hesitation. They stepped inside and froze in disbelief, not from cold, but surprise. The warmth came from everywhere, not just a stove. The floor itself held heat like a living thing. Word traveled fast. More neighbors came, first with excuses, then with honest questions. Emily explained calmly, without pride. She talked about guiding heat, about patience, about letting warmth linger instead of escape. She never mentioned the laughter. She did not need to. Winter was doing that for her. By midwinter, the difference was undeniable. Emily used far less firewood than anyone else. Her cabin stayed warm even when fires burned low. Children sat on the floor and played without shivering. Elderly neighbors rested comfortably, their breathing easier in steady warmth. The underground chimney system became a quiet miracle beneath the snow. Something else changed, too. Emily changed. The grief that once felt endless softened. Helping others filled spaces inside her she thought were gone forever. Each prayer she whispered now carried gratitude instead of only sorrow. She realized that survival was not just about heat. It was about purpose. When spring finally arrived, muddy roads revealed the scars of a harsh season. Cabins needed repair. Wood piles were empty, but conversations were different. Neighbors no longer laughed at new ideas. They listened. Plans for future cabins included underground heat channels. Emily was asked to help design systems for others, her knowledge finally seen for what it was. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that quiet faith and perseverance can turn doubt into hope, please like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to the channel so more stories like this can be told. Before we end, comment below and tell us about a time when people doubted your idea, but you trusted it anyway. Your story might inspire someone to keep going. Because sometimes the greatest warmth does not come from louder fires or taller chimneys, but from wisdom buried deep, faith held steady, and the courage to believe that what flows beneath the surface can change everything.